Have you ever noticed that the more desperately you chase something, the farther it slips away? Success, happiness, love, they're always within arm's reach, yet they seem to dodge us when we try to grab them with all our might. Why do the things we desire most seem just beyond our reach? There's a profound Zen saying that might hold the answer. When you stop caring, results come. It's a paradox, isn't it? We're constantly told to push harder, strive more, and never stop chasing our dreams. But what if the secret to fulfillment isn't in holding on tighter, but in letting go? Think about it. Have you ever been so fixated on controlling every outcome that it left you stressed, frustrated, or burned out? Could it be that all this clinging is the very thing keeping you stuck? Here's the truth most of us miss. Attachment doesn't lead to freedom, it leads to suffering. But when you let go, you unlock something far more powerful: inner peace, clarity, and strangely enough, the results you've been chasing all along begin to flow into your life effortlessly. In this video, we'll uncover the transformative wisdom of Zen and Buddhism. You'll learn how releasing the need to control everything can lead to unparalleled freedom and joy. By the end, you'll realize that surrender isn't about giving up. It's about reclaiming your life. If you've ever felt trapped by your own expectations, this may be the one insight that changes everything. Let's dive in. Principle 1. Focus on what you can control. There's a beautiful story about a monk who spent years meditating by a tranquil river. One day a traveler approached him, overwhelmed by life's chaos, work, relationships, the constant urge to control every detail. The monk listened and then said, "Do you see how the river flows? It doesn't stop for the rocks in its path. It flows around them. You must be like the river. Focus on what you can control and let go of the rest." This simple yet profound wisdom mirrors one of life's greatest truths. True freedom begins when we stop trying to control the uncontrollable. Buddhism teaches us that suffering arises from clinging to things we can't change, outcomes, people, or circumstances. The Buddha urged us to focus on our actions, attitudes, and the peace within. A philosopher summed this up beautifully. The chief task in life is to distinguish between what is up to us and what is not. Imagine how much lighter life would feel if you fully embraced this idea. Think back to a time when you felt stressed, perhaps a conflict at work where you felt unheard or unappreciated. How much energy did you waste trying to change someone else's behavior or control the outcome of that situation? Now ask yourself, what if you had instead focused on your own professionalism, composure, and grace? When we stop clinging to what doesn't belong to us, we regain the power to shape our own destiny. This practice isn't about being indifferent, it's about clarity. It's not that you stop caring entirely, but you stop caring about things that drain you unnecessarily. Focus on what you can influence, your mindset, your habits, and your responses. Like the river that flows around rocks, your energy becomes unstoppable when it's not wasted on resistance. Here's how to start. Identify your sphere of control. Reflect on what is truly within your power. Is it your effort, your attitude? Start there. Release the rest. Acknowledge the things you can't change, others' opinions, the past, unpredictable events, and consciously let them go. Redirect your energy. Channel your focus into actions aligned with your values and goals. Ask yourself today, what weight am I carrying that isn't mine to hold? When you let go, you free yourself, and in that freedom, results flow naturally, just like the river finding its way to the ocean. Take one step today to release an attachment that's been holding you back. Principle 2. Embrace life's imperfections. A man once approached a Zen master burdened by his failures. "I try so hard to make everything perfect," he said, "but nothing ever turns out the way I want it." The master smiled and handed him a cracked teacup. "Drink," he said. The man paused, hesitating. "It's imperfect," he replied. The master nodded, his eyes gentle. "And yet, it still holds the tea." This simple exchange unveils a powerful truth. Perfection isn't the goal, acceptance is. In Buddhist philosophy, suffering often arises from our resistance to reality, from our desire to force life into a mold that simply doesn't fit. We think, "I'll be happy once everything is perfect," but perfection is a fleeting illusion, always just beyond our grasp. The Buddha taught that when we demand perfection, we invite frustration and suffering. Life is inherently imperfect, and therein lies its beauty. The seasons change, flowers bloom and wither, and even the moon with all its craters is still magnificent. Each moment with its flaws holds wisdom if we're open to it. Think back to the last time something didn't go as planned. Maybe a work project that didn't meet your expectations, or a relationship that went through a rough patch. How much time did you waste mourning what should have been, instead of finding the lessons in what was? The truth is, when we release the need for perfection, we create space for growth. Today, modern life often teaches us to fear mistakes, to see imperfections as failures. But Zen wisdom invites us to look at those cracks differently. They're not flaws, they're where the light enters. Imagine an artist who celebrates imperfections in their work. They find beauty in a crooked line or a smudged stroke. Life is no different. It's the imperfect moments that teach us resilience, creativity, and grace. Here's how to embrace imperfection in your life. Shift your perspective. When things don't go as planned, pause. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Mistakes aren't obstacles, they're stepping stones. Practice self-compassion. Stop punishing yourself for your flaws. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. Progress is more important than perfection. Find beauty in the flaws of life. Look for the hidden beauty in what's broken or unfinished, whether it's a chipped cup or an unexpected detour. Let these moments remind you of life's unique charm. Ask yourself, what am I resisting because it's not perfect? When you stop clinging to perfection, you unlock freedom. Suddenly, mistakes become opportunities, flaws transform into teachers, and life itself becomes richer. Just like the cracked teacup still holds tea, you, imperfect and real, are enough. Today, take one step to embrace life as it is, not as you think it should be. Principle 3. Practice mindfulness. There's an old Zen story where a student asked his master, "What is the secret to a peaceful life?" The master simply handed him a cup of tea and said, "Drink this." As the student sipped, his mind wandered, thinking about chores, tasks, and the future. Sensing this, the master gently took the cup away and said, "When you drink tea, just drink tea." This exchange holds profound wisdom. True peace is found in the present moment, yet how often do we live anywhere but now? Our minds rush ahead, consumed by worries about the future, or cling to the past, replaying regrets. In doing so, we miss the one moment we truly have, the present. Buddha taught that the present is the only moment we can truly control. Dwelling on the past or obsessing over the future creates suffering because neither can be changed. But the present, now, that's where your power lies. Think about a time when you were truly present. Maybe it was watching a sunset, feeling the warmth of the sun and the cool breeze on your skin. In that moment, you weren't burdened by yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's worries. You were simply there, fully immersed in the now. The beauty of mindfulness is that it roots us in this moment, reminding us that peace isn't about solving every problem, but about being fully alive in each breath. In today's fast-paced world, mindfulness can seem like a luxury, but it's actually a necessity. Anxiety over the future and regrets from the past drain our energy and rob us of joy. The good news is mindfulness doesn't require hours of silence. It begins with small moments of awareness. Here's how you can practice mindfulness. Start with your breath. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath and feel the air fill your lungs. Even a single mindful breath can anchor you in the present. Engage your senses. Whether eating a meal, walking outside, or listening to music, focus on the sensory details, the taste, the sound, the texture of what surrounds you. Pause and notice. When your mind starts spiraling into worry or regret, gently bring it back. Ask yourself, what's happening right now? Mindfulness isn't about stopping your thoughts. It's about noticing them and returning to the present. Ask yourself today, what beauty am I missing because I'm not paying attention? When you practice mindfulness, you stop caring about the distractions that pull you away from the now. In return, you gain clarity, peace, and presence. Take one mindful breath today and let it remind you, this moment is enough. Principle 4. Perspective is everything. There's a Zen parable about a farmer whose horse ran away. His neighbors exclaimed, "What terrible luck!" The farmer, however, calmly replied, "Maybe." The next day, the horse returned, bringing a wild stallion with it. The neighbors cheered, "What great fortune!" The farmer's response, "Maybe." Later, the farmer's son tried to tame the wild horse and fell, breaking his leg. The neighbors lamented, "Such misfortune." Again, the farmer said, "Maybe." Days later, soldiers came to recruit young men for war, but they passed over the farmer's son because of his injury. The neighbors celebrated, and once again, the farmer said, "Maybe." This story beautifully illustrates a profound truth. It's not the events themselves, but our perspective on them that shapes our peace. In Buddhist philosophy, this wisdom is echoed in the teaching that it's not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Life is full of challenges. Relationships end, careers falter, plans go awry. When setbacks arise, it's easy to label them as failures and spiral into frustration or self-pity. But what if instead of resisting, we reframe these moments? What if every setback became an opportunity to grow, pivot, or start fresh? Consider a job rejection. At first, it feels like the door to your dreams has slammed shut. But what if that rejection is pushing you towards something better? Perhaps it's leading you to a passion you've overlooked, or pointing you to a job that aligns more closely with your values. Reframing doesn't deny the pain. It acknowledges it and opens the door to new possibilities. Here's how to cultivate this shift in perspective. Pause and reflect. When something goes wrong, resist the urge to react immediately. Ask yourself, what might this situation be teaching me? Find the opportunity. Look beyond the surface. What lessons or new paths might emerge from this experience? Let go of labels. Stop categorizing events as good or bad. Trust that even in adversity, growth is happening. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that our judgments create unnecessary suffering. By shifting our perspective, we reclaim the power to shape our reality. As the Dalai Lama once said, sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck. Ask yourself today, what challenge in my life can I see differently? When you stop labeling every experience, you create space for transformation. Life becomes less about what happens and more about how you choose to see it. Today, embrace a challenge as an opportunity and watch your life shift in ways you never imagined. Principle 5. Let go of entitlement. There's a story about a wandering monk who sought shelter during a storm. He approached a grand mansion and asked for refuge, but the owner turned him away. Soaked and cold, the monk found an old broken-down shed nearby and rested there for the night. In the morning, he smiled as he watched the sunrise, its golden rays illuminating the shed's cracks. "Even this humble shelter was more than I deserved," he whispered to himself. This story captures a profound teaching. Life owes us nothing, yet it gives us everything. In Buddhist philosophy, attachment to entitlement is a source of suffering. When we demand that life meet our expectations, that we deserve success, love, or recognition, we set ourselves up for resentment and disappointment. But when we approach life as a gift, even the smallest blessings bring immense joy. Buddha's wisdom reminds us, you are not owed anything by life. All is a gift. Think about how often we fall into the trap of entitlement. We feel we deserve a promotion, yet it goes to someone else. We expect perfect weather on vacation, but it rains. Each unmet expectation breeds frustration. But what if we released the idea of deserving and replaced it with gratitude for what is? Imagine a professional artist who spends months on a masterpiece, believing it deserves widespread acclaim. When the response, entitlement, they ask themselves, how can I use this experience to grow? By letting go of the belief that they were owed success, they rediscover the joy of creating for its own sake. Here's how to let go of entitlement in your life. Shift from expectation to gratitude. Each day, instead of focusing on what you lack, notice what you already have. Gratitude transforms resentment into peace. Replace "I deserve" with "How can I contribute?" Focus on giving instead of receiving. The question, "How can I serve?" opens doors that entitlement keeps closed. Adapt to outcomes. When life doesn't go your way, pause and adapt. Ask, what can I learn or do differently? Ask yourself, what expectations are holding me back from appreciating the present? When you stop caring about what you think life owes you, you open yourself to its gifts. Each sunrise, each moment of connection, each breath becomes a treasure. Today, release one expectation and embrace what life offers instead. You may find that it's already enough. Principle 6. Accept change. A wise monk once said, "A river never fights the current. It flows, adapting to every bend and obstacle because it knows this truth. Nothing stays the same." This is the essence of impermanence, a central teaching in Buddhist philosophy. Impermanence is the nature of existence the Buddha taught, and yet we resist this truth, clinging tightly to what was or fearing what might come. Think about the seasons. Summer fades into autumn, which gives way to winter and then spring. We accept this without question. But when life brings its own seasons, when relationships end, careers shift, or circumstances change, we fight against it. We hold on, wishing things could stay as they were. This resistance doesn't stop change. It only creates suffering. Imagine someone whose career suddenly takes a turn. Perhaps their company closes, or they're passed over for a promotion. At first, they feel lost, even angry. But what if instead of resisting, they leaned into change? What if they saw this as an opportunity to explore a new path, one they might never have considered otherwise? Change, while uncomfortable, often brings growth and transformation. Modern life is full of transitions, moving cities, evolving friendships, aging. The more we cling to the past or fear the future, the harder these changes become. But when we accept impermanence, we see the beauty in endings and the possibility in beginnings. A failed relationship, for instance, may hurt deeply, but it also clears space for someone more aligned with who you are becoming. Here's how to embrace change in your life. Acknowledge your resistance. When change happens, notice your feelings. What are you clinging to? Simply recognizing this is the first step. Reframe endings as beginnings. Instead of focusing on what you're losing, ask, what new opportunities might this bring? Stay present. Change feels overwhelming when we project too far into the future. Focus on the now and take one small step forward. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that change is not the enemy. It's the natural flow of life. When you accept impermanence, you release the weight of trying to control the uncontrollable. As the Zen saying goes, when you let go, you create space for what's next. Ask yourself, what change am I resisting that could lead to growth? When you stop caring about keeping things the same, you free yourself to grow, evolve, and embrace the unknown. Today, trust the flow of life. Let go of what was, and welcome what's to come. Principle 7. Cultivate forgiveness. There's a story of two monks traveling together. At one point, they reached a river with a strong current where a woman stood, hesitant and afraid to cross. One monk offered to carry her across, even though their vows forbade touching a woman. She accepted, and he carried her on his back. Hours later, after they had continued on their journey, the second monk couldn't hold back his frustration. "How could you break your vows like that?" he asked. The first monk simply smiled and replied, "I set her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" This story embodies a powerful truth. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. When someone wrongs us, it's easy to carry resentment, replaying the hurt in our minds over and over. But the weight of that anger doesn't punish the other person. It punishes us. Think of a betrayal by someone you trusted, a friend who broke your confidence, or a partner who wasn't faithful. The initial sting is sharp, but what happens when you keep holding on to that pain? It seeps into every corner of your life, making it hard to trust, hard to love, and hard to grow. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing what happened or letting the other person back into your life. It means releasing your grip on the anger that's holding you hostage. Buddhist teachings emphasize that forgiveness is not for the benefit of the other, it's for your own peace. Letting go creates space for healing and transformation. Consider this. A tree battered by a storm doesn't blame the wind. It adapts, growing stronger roots and branches. Similarly, your pain can become a source of growth if you let it. Here's how to cultivate forgiveness. Acknowledge the hurt. Don't suppress or deny your feelings. Name them and accept their presence. Shift your focus. Instead of fixating on the wrongdoing, ask, what can this experience teach me about myself? Use the pain to develop empathy, boundaries, and self-respect. Release with compassion. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. Wish the person well, sometimes from a distance, and let them go. The Buddha said, hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This doesn't mean you must love those who hurt you, but it means releasing the poison of anger to allow love and peace to fill the void. Ask yourself, what grudge am I holding onto that's weighing me down? Today, set down one burden of anger. Forgive not for them, but for yourself. Peace is waiting on the other side. Principle 8. Silence is golden. There is a Zen proverb that says, "Speak only if it improves upon the silence." In its simplicity lies profound wisdom. Imagine a clear, still pond. When undisturbed, it reflects the world perfectly, capturing the sky, the trees, and even the smallest details. But throw a stone into it, and the ripples distort everything. Our words are like stones. When used carelessly, they disrupt harmony, often creating more chaos than clarity. Think about the last time you found yourself in a heated argument, perhaps with a loved one or a colleague. As emotions ran high, you may have said things you later regretted, words that escalated the conflict instead of calming it. In moments of tension, silence can be your greatest ally. It's not weakness, it's strength, a conscious choice to pause, reflect, and respond with wisdom rather than impulse. Buddhism teaches us the value of right speech, a principle of the Noble Eightfold Path. It urges us to speak truthfully, kindly, and only when necessary. When you practice this, your words become tools for connection rather than weapons of division. Silence allows you to step back, observe your emotions, and decide whether speaking will bring healing or harm. Imagine a parent frustrated by their child's mistakes. The impulse is to react, to scold. But what if instead they paused in silence? In that space, they might recognize the child's fear or confusion, and their words could shift from anger to guidance. Similarly, in relationships, silence during conflicts can create a moment of understanding, a chance to listen deeply both to the other person and to yourself. Here's how to practice mindful silence. Pause before you speak. In moments of conflict, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, will my words help or hurt? If you're unsure, it's better to stay silent. Listen more than you talk. Silence isn't just about not speaking, it's about creating space to truly hear others. Listen not only to their words, but to their emotions. Use words as a last resort. Sometimes silence itself conveys understanding and compassion. When you must speak, choose words that heal, guide, or clarify. The Buddha once said, "Words have the power to destroy and heal." When words are both true and kind, they can change the world. This doesn't mean avoiding difficult conversations or suppressing your feelings. It means choosing your moments and words wisely. Today, embrace silence where it matters most. Let it become a space for peace, reflection, and wisdom. The power of silence. In moments of chaos, ask yourself, what could silence teach me? When we release the need to react or be heard, we unlock the power of presence. Silence is not an absence. It's a space where clarity and wisdom are born. Today, challenge yourself to embrace silence in one difficult moment. Let it guide your response, and you may find that where words fail, silence heals. Principle 9. Love your fate. Buddhist philosophy offers this profound teaching. Do not wish for events to happen as you desire. Desire them to happen as they do. Imagine standing in a rainstorm. You can curse the clouds and wish for the sun, or you can accept the rain, feel its coolness, and find joy in its rhythm. The rain doesn't change, but you do. Life often throws us storms we didn't choose. Financial struggles, career setbacks, relationships that don't unfold as planned. These moments test our resilience. But what if, instead of resisting, we embrace them? Buddhism teaches that suffering doesn't come from events themselves, but from our resistance to them. Fighting reality creates tension, while acceptance brings peace. The craftsman's story. A craftsman spent months creating a beautiful statue. Just as he finished, an earthquake shattered it into pieces. Instead of mourning his loss, he gathered the fragments and crafted a unique mosaic, a masterpiece born from resilience. When life breaks your plans, you have two choices: resist and dwell on what could have been, or embrace the cracks and create something new. Practical steps to love your fate. 1. Shift your perspective. When faced with difficulty, ask, what is this teaching me? 2. Reframe obstacles. See challenges as opportunities to strengthen patience, creativity, or adaptability. 3. Embrace impermanence. Life's storms are temporary, and just as they pass, so will challenges. 4. Simplify desires. Let go of rigid expectations and align with the present moment. The Buddha said, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. Loving your fate doesn't mean surrendering to despair. It means finding beauty in what is, even when it's not what you planned. Today, ask yourself, what challenge in my life can I embrace instead of resist? Principle 10. Remember you will die. Buddhism reminds us, let us postpone nothing, for tomorrow is not promised. This truth may feel unsettling, but it holds transformative power. We often live as if time is infinite, pushing off important actions and dreams. But imagine waking up, knowing today is your last. Who would you call? What words would you say? When we remember that life is finite, our priorities shift, petty concerns fade, and we focus on what truly matters. The corporate ladder story. A man spent his life chasing success and wealth. In the end, he realized he had overlooked the people who truly mattered, missed countless precious moments, and failed to show his love. It was only then he wished he had cherished inner peace and connections over chasing external rewards. Living with urgency 1. Take action today. Don't wait for the perfect moment to focus on what's important. Begin now. 2. Focus on what matters. Give priority to relationships and meaningful experiences in your life. 3. Practice gratitude. Every breath is a blessing. Develop the habit of appreciating what you have. The Buddha cautioned us, the problem is believing we have more time. Reflect on this thought. Ask yourself, what am I putting off that I can do today? Let go of insignificant worries and embrace the fleeting beauty of life. Every moment is a chance to live with intention and authenticity. Closing reflection. Life flows like a river, effortlessly finding its way around obstacles without resistance. In the same way, when we release expectations and move with the flow of life, we open ourselves to endless possibilities. As the Zen teaching reminds us, let go or be dragged. True peace isn't found in controlling outcomes, but in flowing with life's natural rhythm. Ask yourself, what can I let go of today to create space for peace? What can I embrace to find joy in this moment? If these reflections speak to you, like and share this video and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Together, we can walk the journey of mindfulness and purpose. Remember, you will die, a powerful and life-changing truth. This might seem harsh, even unsettling, but it carries a profound wisdom that can reshape how we live. Too often we behave as if time is limitless. We delay meaningful conversations, actions and dreams, pushing them into a distant future. But the truth is, none of us know how many tomorrows remain. Imagine waking up today, knowing it's your last. What would you do differently? Who would you reach out to? What words would you share? What worries would you stop holding on to? When we reflect on life's impermanence, our true priorities become clear. The trivial concerns, lingering fears, and small grudges we cling to suddenly lose their importance. Instead, what truly matters comes into focus. The principle of remember you will die is not meant to create fear or anxiety. It's a gentle reminder to live with clarity, presence, and purpose. The Buddha encouraged us to reflect on mortality, as it reminds us to live authentically, here and now. The corporate ladder story. Think of the story of a man who devoted his entire life to chasing success, climbing the corporate ladder, and amassing wealth. As his life neared its end, he realized the heavy cost of his choices. He had overlooked the people who truly mattered, missed countless moments with his loved ones, and failed to express his love and gratitude. He had lived as though time was infinite. It was only then he wished he had spent less time chasing material success and more time cultivating inner peace and meaningful relationships. Practical steps to embrace mortality. 1. Live with urgency. Don't wait for the perfect moment to act on what truly matters. The right time is now. If there's a dream, an apology, or words of love you've been postponing, take the first step today. 2. Prioritize what matters. Take time to reflect on your values and what's truly important. Spend more moments with your loved ones, share your appreciation for them, and nurture meaningful relationships. 3. Let go of trivial concerns. Release the things that don't bring value to your life. Shift your focus to what truly matters. 4. Practice gratitude. Every breath and every moment is a precious gift. Develop a daily habit of gratitude. Appreciate the beauty around you, the relationships you hold dear, and the opportunities life offers. The Buddha once said, "The problem is, you think you have time. But time is a gift, and we never know how much of it remains. Let go or be dragged. When we hold tightly to expectations, we invite suffering. But by letting go, we create space for peace." As the Zen teaching says, let go or be dragged. Imagine a river. It doesn't resist the rocks in its way, but gracefully flows around them, finding its path effortlessly. Similarly, we can approach life's challenges by seeing each obstacle as an opportunity to grow. 1. Accept impermanence. Everything in life is temporary. By embracing this reality, we free ourselves from unnecessary resistance. 2. Let go of perfection. Peace isn't found in trying to control outcomes. It arises when we align with life's natural flow. 3. Turn inward. Forgive others, cherish the present, and nurture harmony within yourself. True strength lies not in force, but in moving with life's rhythm. When we let go of control and trust the wisdom of the universe, we open the door to serenity. As Epictetus wisely said, "Do not wish for events to happen as you desire, but desire them to happen as they do, and you will find peace." A final reflection. Ask yourself, what have I been putting off that I can start today? What can I release to create space for peace? The beauty of life is found in its fleeting moments. In the stillness of the present, profound truths are revealed. Often the things we cling to become the source of our suffering, while the things we release allow peace to flourish. If these reflections inspire you, please like and share this video.